Ooh, this is intense. Who knew that making 14 pieces of fried chicken would be so tough? Hey everybody, my name is Vaughn and I'm here at the New York Times Cooking Studio to make fried chicken. This is Cooking the Comments. This is a show where I take one of the New York Times most popular, tried and true recipes. I will cook it once through exactly as it's intended, and then I'll look at the comments of things that you all have suggested. Oh my. And I will amend that recipe based on your suggestions. Then I take all of my learnings and then I channel that energy into my ultimate recipe.
Ding.
My perfect recipe for fried chicken.
That's really good.
Really good. Original recipe. But not KFC, Sam Sifton. Sam is not just like our boss, but he's like a boss's 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 boss. This is a recipe that is very simple. It is quite literally just submerging the chicken in a buttermilk brine for at least 1 hour and up to 24 hours. And then you dredge the chicken in a mixture of flour, salt, and pepper, and then you fry it. And that is like at its core, the essence of like really great fried chicken. The next step is to just brine these. It's about 3 to 4 cups of buttermilk for your around 3 pounds of chicken. Brining your chicken flavors it basically from the inside out. It's also going to tenderize it. Now I'm adding 2 tablespoons of salt, a little bit of pepper, right? Or there's no pepper in this. Oh yeah, healthy grind. Me at the middle school dance at my like Episcopal school. A healthy grind. Just kidding, I wasn't grinding with anybody. So now all I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put the chicken parts in there. We have a swap prepared for this, and what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna fry the swap off that's been actually brining for about 24 hours, and then I'm gonna fry this off and show everybody the difference, taste the difference, but also you might see a visual difference in kind of what the brine does to the chicken after 1 hour versus 24 hours. All right. Cover it tightly, and into the fridge we go. The chicken that we set up yesterday, I have. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna heat up my oil. I'm using a Dutch oven here. Something with high sides is gonna be your safest bet, and something that has a lid. A tight-fitting lid is key for this particular recipe because once you put the chicken in there, you cover it. That's probably about 2-ish inches, maybe 1.5 inches of oil. I want to heat this to about 350 degrees. I've got a double brown paper bag here, and I just think that that is such a fun way to make fried chicken. It kind of reminds me of like something my nanny would do in the kitchen on a Sunday. It's just about a tablespoon of salt, black pepper. I'm just gonna The buttermilk here is what the flour is going to kind of glom onto, creating that crust. Just gonna lay that in there. No wire hangers ever! So I'm gonna shake off some of the excess flour, hanging on by a thread. I thought I could catch it midair. Oh, Lord. Well, alrighty. Put the thigh skin side down, and I'm gonna put the lid on it. Because you're adding cold chicken to the oil, the lid is there for mostly temperature management. You only cook it covered for about 5 to 15 minutes, and I think that's to make sure that all that heat doesn't actually escape when you first drop the chicken in there. And then after 5 to 15 minutes, you're gonna take the lid off so that that steam can escape, and I think you get more of a crunchier crust, a more burnished golden look. So my chicken's been going for about 5 minutes, and I am going to check it. Kind of open it like that because I don't want to get burned by the steam. The crust is definitely adhered to the chicken nicely, which is something we were looking for. I'm going to turn my oil up, though I can already tell it's like a little cold. And I'm gonna stick my thermometer back in there. Now is a good time for me to go ahead and turn the chicken because that crust has already adhered. Just turn my chicken again because I'm making sure that not one side gets too dark. You're looking for the visual indicators rather than the like temperature indicators. I'm pretty positive that this will be at the temperature that I want it to be at. Sam in the recipe says that color is just as, if not more important than time here, making sure that your chicken has this really gorgeous golden brown color. That's gonna give you as much of an indicator of when it's done, especially if you've maintained a good temperature on your oil throughout. Once it's out of the hot oil, you do wanna hit it with a little bit of salt. We have salt in here, we had salt in the brine, but even so, like, you wanna make sure that it is nice and salty fried chicken because that is what makes it so good. So I just fried the 24-hour brine fried chicken. While my oil is still hot, I wanna go ahead and fry off the 1-hour brine just to be able to have that comparison because I feel like it's gonna be important to be able to really convey like the difference between the two. Shake off a little bit of the excess. Nice. See there that looks really nice and golden brown. I am noticing a little bit more separation from the actual meat. You can kind of see that the crust is separated from the meat itself. I'm gonna sprinkle this with a little bit of salt. Fried chicken's like one of my favorite foods. I would say it is my favorite food. So this is a treat to be able to spend the next 2 days making myself absolutely sick eating fried chicken. This is my overnight brined fried chicken. I'm gonna dive in. Oh my God. There is so much flavor in that goes beyond just the crust. The brine overnight definitely was able to like penetrate the inside of the chicken and really flavor it from the inside out. This is the blank canvas to then drizzle your hot honey on, dip it in ranch or whatever you want to do. It's so good. Now this is the 1-hour brine. The 1-hour brine is still quite flavorful. That's why the recipe indicates that at least 1 hour will do the trick. My chicken, even though it's dark meat, doesn't seem as tender as the 24-hour because this one had the buttermilk to really tenderize it over that 24-hour period of time, whereas this one just had an hour in the brine, and it doesn't seem as juicy. Also, I'm getting a lot of separation from the skin. I think that the buttermilk just didn't have enough time to like truly penetrate the chicken enough to then coat it in the way that's like, this one was a thicker coating of buttermilk when I took it out of the buttermilk versus this one was quite thin. The chicken and the buttermilk had almost become one, you know? They'd almost married together. For something that's so simple, it came out so good. And I'm like, how am I gonna really improve upon this? I'm excited to kind of dive into the comments to see if people have any different techniques, methods, flavors that they really like in their fried chicken to then be able to help better inform me. I love when recipes have a comment section that is just really vibrant with people adding their own personal spins on things. I'm gonna go through the comment section and I'm gonna read and pull some out that I really like, and then I think that's gonna inform some of my tests that I'm gonna do. Oh, here's some fun ones. Rebecca says, this recipe made my children cheer and hug me. If you want your children to love you, make fried chicken. Love fried chicken. This is the best, easiest recipe yet. Great tip on using color to determine the doneness. I agree. Bet Irene says, serve it with biscuits because of course you've made biscuits unless you've made mashed potatoes or both if it's winter and you need a heavy meal. Shayla M adds sliced onion rings and rosemary branches to the buttermilk marinade and dredges and flour along with the chicken. Adds a bit of pickle juice to the buttermilk soak and a couple teaspoons of cornstarch to the flour mixture to help crispness. This is something that I've been thinking about. I definitely think that adding some cornstarch to the dredge, it's a technique that you see in some other types of cuisines when they make fried chicken as well. And I think that that is something that would really enhance that airy crispness. Chili powder, salt and pepper, interesting. Onion powder, garlic, cayenne. I'm seeing a lot of people adding some spices, which is something that I definitely think I want to kind of go in that realm. Dan says to use white lily self-rising flour, which is interesting. I've been thinking about the addition of like a chemical leavener, which self-rising flour has. Replacing 25% of the buttermilk with sour cream or yogurt and add ranch dressing mix or Creole spices. Interesting. I wonder if we should like brine one completely in ranch. I'm intrigued. Dan, you really got the wheels turning there. Christopher Foley, says, I was taught by a Southern gentleman to add lime juice and a pinch of cayenne to the brine. I like that. I think that's nice. I think lime juice will enhance that acidity. Will it make it too acidic? I don't know, but pickle juice is something that I'm also interested in. Feta brine? What? Trainer Bill? You're crazy. Okay, adding Tabasco, yum. Louisiana hot sauce, love. Some ginger, drizzle the pieces with honey when it was still hot. Yeah, I mean, I'm all for it. Sam says that in the top note. I think that's a great way to eat fried chicken. I've seen a lot of really good comments. I've seen a couple that threw me for a loop. But I definitely want to try different types of brines and different types of dredges. Basically, the two things that you can do differently to fried chicken. To the drawing board. I'm gonna go ahead and set up my brines just to kind of get those out of the way. That way when I return tomorrow morning, they'll already be kind of like set up for me and I'll be ready to fry and see how they do. I'm gonna start by doing a dry brine, which is basically just sprinkling some salt onto my chicken that's patted dry. In the interest of keeping this consistent, I'm gonna do thighs and legs, but my final recipe will call for the whole chicken. I'm gonna just sprinkle it pretty evenly with some salt on both sides of the chicken and just let it sit uncovered in the refrigerator overnight. I think I'm gonna do my wet brine next. So now I'm gonna basically just make like a salt solution. It's basically a solution of a tablespoon of salt per cup of water. You see it's pretty cloudy and that's what you want. You want a pretty high concentration of salt there. Kind of submerge my chicken parts. All right, one brine down. Oh, I think I'm gonna go ranch. I'm feeling excited about the ranch. I don't know why. It just seems so like I don't know. It seems like something that my mom would like. I would come home from school and like she'd be like, I saw this on the Food Network today. Smells ranchy. I feel like I need to maybe thin it out with a little bit of buttermilk. Heavy too. All right, next I'm gonna do pickle juice. So it's just 2 cups. Submerge my chicken in there. Now I'm gonna do the cola brine, which is just 2 cups of cola, garlic, a little bit of salt, some hot sauce. Oh my God. I'm gonna stick a couple sprigs of thyme in there. And now for the chicken. My last brine that I'm gonna set up is gonna be just the same buttermilk brine, but with a little bit of what one commenter said that a Southern gentleman told him to put some lime juice and a pinch of cayenne in there. So I'm gonna do that. I mean, I definitely think that a brine set up with some spices is gonna be probably the way that I go, but we'll try this for now just to see what that lime juice kind of gives us, you know? Buttermilk, probably about the juice of a lime, a pinch of cayenne. Ooh. And this would be my last brine. Fun. I set up my brines. I'm gonna put these in the fridge to brine overnight. Now I'm gonna start on my dredges, which the dredging I can just dredge then fry. Since I already have that buttermilk brined chicken that's been set up overnight, I can just go ahead and test that with the different dredges today. I'm gonna start with my cornstarch. A couple commenters say that they want to do a 1-to-1 swap. I'm thinking that's still maybe a little too much cornstarch. Let's try 1 cup of flour. This is gonna be a 50-50 ratio. If I use too little, I can't tell a difference. You know what I mean? Okay, so, you know what? Actually, I am gonna set up a test with a little bit less. I'll do 1 50-50 and then I'll do 1 75-25. Flipping the script. Not really flipping the script. Adding 1 more test, yeah. Salt in there, a few turns of pepper. Great. So there is my 50-50 cornstarch. Now I'm gonna set up a 75-25 cornstarch. I've been thinking a little bit more. I feel like in order for me to get kind of a more accurate picture of what it's like adding all of these different things in there, I'm gonna need to do even 1 more test with cornstarch and leavener. I wanna do 1 just to see what it's like when I just add baking powder or baking soda to the flour, and then 1 with the cornstarch also in there, in the name of science. Now, I'm going to do a test with flour and a little bit of baking powder. I'm gonna do baking powder because baking powder is, in its property, baking soda with something else added to it, so I think it's fine. Now, I'm gonna do a mixture of flour, cornstarch, and baking powder. And now, my last one is just gonna be all-purpose flour with paprika, garlic powder, cayenne, salt, pepper, oregano, and then I'm gonna do some onion powder too. Mix this up. Got some dredging to do. Now I'm gonna just do a thigh per. I'm gonna start with my cornstarch. So I've got a cornstarchy, less cornstarchy, and then I'm gonna go with bacon powdery, corny powdery. There we go. And then I'm gonna go with spicy. All right, now let's fry. Okay, cornstarch, less cornstarch, baking powder, skin side down, lid on for 5 minutes. What? All right, I'm gonna give her a little flick. I mean, these are crispy. This one is going faster. I'm intrigued by that. Okay, I might need to pull the baking because she looks good. That's corn. Here's less corn. Hit these a little salt. I'm gonna let them cool a little bit, and hopefully in that time, my other ones will have cooked, and then we can taste them all at the same time. My mixture of cornstarch and baking powder. This one is my spicy. Pulling, yeah, pulling. Here's a little salt. This looks so good. Just by looking at it, it's really interesting. The 1-to-1 cornstarch with AP flour looks very bubbly. Like the surface is a little bit rougher, kind of harkens like a karage a little bit. Now, less cornstarch looks really nice. I can tell that that's very crispy. The baking powder one is gorgeous. This one took on color faster. The cornstarch and baking powder one, this one kind of reminds me of the look of like my grandma's fried chicken or like a chicken fried steak or something like that. The spicy one just looks wonderful and smells great. I'm gonna start with the cornstarch 1-to-1. Wow. My crust has a little bit of gappage. It isn't adhering. I'm gonna go with less corn. That like earth-shattering crust, but it's more cohesive with the chicken. The chicken's cooked really well. It's like very juicy. Because of the gluten structure in the flour, there's a little bit more structure overall in the crust, which is nice. And I think that's probably why it adheres more to the actual chicken itself. This is the one with baking powder. Wow. This is crispy. This one's very similar to the original. This is corn plus baking powder. I really like how that turned out. It's got that lightness from the cornstarch, and it's adhered well to the skin. It's still very one. There's definitely a difference between this one and these two. But these two, I'm trying to decipher like really what is the difference. My last one is gonna be the one with the spices added to it. The original kind of like consistency of the dredge, but with spices. Yeah, I definitely wanna add some spices to it. I just didn't add enough, honestly. In order to get the most use out of a spice mix, putting it in both the brine and the dredge, and maybe even dusting a little on top, is kind of like really gonna reinforce those flavors in it. I've got a really good start. I'm excited because there is definitely a difference in these, and it's just which direction do I want to go in. I'm excited to kind of go home and think about this a little bit more with the coating, and I'm really excited to try the dredges tomorrow once those have properly brined overnight. And I'll see you back here tomorrow. So I'm going to just do the basic dredge that is in the standard Sam recipe. So here I just have that already mixed together. Okay, so I'm gonna work in batches with my 6 different brines. Colonel Sanders is quaking. Off, be gone. Y'all wanna get some beauty shots of these? Wow, I feel like I've been frying for days. I'm gonna start with this dry brine. This one came out looking really good, really crispy. I love the color on it, super even. Oh my. This was dry brining, so it was just salt on the chicken, like no other liquid like buttermilk or anything like that. It really drew out a lot of that moisture, creating for a really crispy skin texture, which is super nice, but it also is very flavorful on the inside. Love that. Love that. All right, this is the wet brine. Oh my, very juicy. Very flavorful. I feel like it's not that different from the dry brined one. It was really good though. Cola. Honestly, it's pretty good. It has like a sweetness to it, which obviously, because it was in like 900 grams of sugar for 18 hours, but I like the sweetness, how it offsets that spiciness. This one is pickle brine. Oshi pickly. If I were eating a fried chicken sandwich with pickles on it, it'd be perfect. As standalone fried chicken, not sure if it's for me. Okay, spicy lime. Didn't really do much. I'm not getting any kick, even on like the back end. I mean, it's still very good. All right, ranch. Oh, that's good. That's really good. It just kind of has this oniony, dried spice kind of thing going on. I do like that. Now let's go with the OG. I mean, it's really good. Wow, I like this ranch one. I really was like, ooh, ranch. I think it's just because it's like ranch, but wow. Y'all, I think I might have to do a ranch fried chicken. I think that sounds really good. My expectations are totally subverted. I like ranch. I like ranch! I like ranch! I like ranch! Oh, it feels good out there. Oh, wow. Oh my God. I think I'm gonna do buttermilk ranch fried chicken. Sounds fun, has a nice ring to it. It's like ranch fried chicken, harkens being on a ranch, harkens Cowboy Carter, Act 2, cowboy vibes. Okay, let's do it. Okay, well now I really am sweating because I've got my dad here. The man who could make or break me, Sam Sifton.
Hi.
I'm
Not really my son.
I'm kind of, but like, you see the resemblance, obviously.
But it could be.
It could be.
Wow, fried chicken.
Your recipe, which honestly I will say, like, you have been here for a couple minutes and I was trying to hold my tongue because I was like, Sam, it's such a great recipe.
Yeah, but you changed it.
Well, yeah, but that's kind of like the point, you know? If it weren't the point of this whole thing, I probably wouldn't have changed it because I do feel like it's such a great blank slate recipe. Like, it's the proper way to make fried chicken, and then I think once you know how to do that, you can kind of take the flavorings wherever you want.
Fried chicken is a canvas.
Yes, exactly, and that's basically all I did. Okay, so when you were working on your original recipe, kind of take me through that process.
I started frying chicken, weirdly enough, in Rehoboth Beach, Delaware, cooking for the mother of a close friend of mine who believed that I knew how to fry chicken when I didn't. I knew I wanted a brine, and I figured buttermilk would be good.
Yeah.
Like I'd seen buttermilk fried chicken on menus. What could go wrong? Yeah. So I marinated in buttermilk. I knew I wanted to season my dredging flour. And I think when I started out, I used Old Bay because I was down in Rehoboth, and that's common for crabs and the like. And then I came to putting the top on entirely on my own. It just seemed to me, maybe I'd been at a fast food place that had a pressure fryer or something, but I thought I'm really gonna try and lock this in. And it worked. It's almost like it's in a convection oven frying, so that heat is hitting the top of the Dutch oven and then coming back, back.
I've got a couple more pieces to fry. Should I go ahead and get it going?
Yeah, let's get it going.
All right, I'll go into that one. You go into this one.
And I go into this one. There we go. You're really rolling.
I am rolling there. I'm a little nervous to cover it, but I think it'll be fine.
I think you're gonna be okay. I'm gonna come up just a little bit to get my roll going, and then pop this guy on top.
Hey, you rolling, dude?
I'm rolling deep.
I'm gonna just freshen up for a second, and I'll come back, and you know, we can eat it while it's hot.
Okay, great. I'm gonna keep an eye on this. You go do what you gotta do. Oh my goodness. Here we go, folks.
This is like medieval times level production. You're gonna get dinner and a show.
I'm definitely getting a show.
Oh, that looks good.
Yeah, it's getting there.
It's getting there. You know, when I decided on my flavor for the day, I went home and actually got my hat, my boots, and the shirt. Because our secret flavoring is ranch.
Oh my goodness.
And to celebrate ranch, I got us some ranch water.
This is a hell of an episode of Yellowstone, I'll tell you that. Cheers to you, Rip.
Hell yeah, brother. I don't think you can say hell yeah, brother, then drink out of a straw like this.
Are we gonna make gravy?
You can if you want.
This oil that we've got here, just a little bit of that to make a roux and then hit it with cream or whatever. A lot of black pepper. All of a sudden, you've taken picnic food and made it sit-down food.
That's true.
It's gonna take no time at all.
Let's do it. So I did about a ladle full of our, I'll do a ladle full of our,
I'm gonna call it chicken fat, but it's not, of course. It's
it's like,
chicken frying.
In theory, it's like pretty similar.
So I'm whisking to get those lumps out.
Yeah.
It's almost like we're making a roux, but not really. I'm liking how this looks. All those lumps are gone. It's bubbling furiously.
All right. You said milk first, then buttermilk?
I think milk, then buttermilk.
Yeah, because I think
that buttermilk is so...
Yeah, we can, it's...
I don't want to say chunky, because it's not chunky, but...
It's gloppy.
Nice. And again, whisking. Let's get that buttermilk in there so we don't lose the tangy, but we're definitely going to need more liquid. And I suspect we're going to want to really season this up.
Oh, yeah.
More milk. Serve a crowd this way.
Do you think that we've lost a little bit of that, like, resourcefulness in cooking, of like using your leftover fry oil or your leftover whatever?
I hope we haven't. I think, using the stuff that you have, saving, you know, a braise liquid to
Yeah.
make something else
Totally.
with. I think that's a really good thing to do.
You want to taste it?
Yeah, I do. All right, you've got the chicken flavor in there. You need some salt and black pepper. Nice.
I would call
yes.
this pepper gravy, you know?
Yeah,
It's got to be pepper gravy.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Look at
Oh,
that.
that looks so good. With the little bits from the oil, those chickeny bits,
Yeah.
and then having that pepper in there.
You see this?
Oh.
That fell off of something? Look what I'm doing.
Oh, you dog, you! That's really good.
Excellent.
That's really good.
Perfect. Okay, so we've got gravy.
We should plate it up and eat.
Let's do it.
Should we hit a leg first so that we can cheers?
Oh, so we can do this?
Yeah.
Ding.
Ding.
That was really good.
Really good. I have been eating fried chicken for the last, 36 hours.
Uh-huh.
This is the pinnacle.
Get a little of that gravy on
Okay.
it. Just
Oh,
for,
yeah.
for
Shits and gigs.
I didn't
You were
know
gonna
we
say-
were allowed to say that
You're
in the
not,
family.
but we'll bleep it.
What are we doing now?
You're
To the
going
ranch.
ranchy.
We're going ranch. That's interesting. It's
ranchy.
Those of us who have lived the chicken tenders experience, the ranch dip comes in a lot.
Yeah, but you.
And the ranch is on the outside.
Yeah.
Here the ranch is on the inside.
The ranch. I didn't want to like the ranch. I felt like I was like, is this a gimmick? But just adding that little packet in there, it brings it something different. And if you don't want to add it,
Don't add it.
buttermilk ranch fried chicken.
Yeah, kind of cool.
Yeah,
Little different.
A little different, just like me.
Cheers to you, man.
Cheers. Oh, Sam, we finally got you in a video.
Yeah, it's very good.
Put her there, pal.
Thank you.
Hell yeah, brother.
All right, we'll finish up this ranch water and go mount up. Can I ask you one question
Yeah.
on behalf of the viewers? Are these recipes anywhere conveniently available?
Oh my God, Sam, well, thank you for asking. If you want to find this recipe,
Your recipe,
your recipe,
my recipe,
or a whole host of other fried chicken recipes,
thousands and thousands of other
recipes,
more every day,
more every day, literally every day,
where would you go?
you would go to New York Times Cooking. That's cooking.nytimes.com.